Howdy, folks, and welcome back to TechZags Radio. We're here today to talk about the story of some of our viewers.
Okay, so for our situation, we had three coworkers, Fred, Alex, and Guillermo, who were out for lunch one afternoon. Suddenly, Alex made a microaggressive comment about Guillermo's accent. Fred, who paid attention to his lectures from Dr. Hole, knew that the stress he felt from the uncomfortable situation was a result of his amygdala, which initiated its stress response and caused a sympathetic nervous system to start secretion of epinephrine. With the stress going through his body, Fred realized that his fight or flight response was activating, and he needed to do something. As we will go over later, Fred could either choose to be passive and allow Alex to keep making these comments, or he can assert and take control of the situation. First, we'll go over how the situation goes when Fred didn't pay attention in class and stays passive throughout.
The scared batter strikes out is a situation where Fred, a passive coworker, walks into a situation, and here's Alex, is one of his coworkers, make a comment about Guillermo's accent that offended him, and Fred could not use his sensory cortex to solve the situation, leading to the intensity of the situation to an unnecessary turn, whereas if he could have used his knowledge about his leadership assignments given to him earlier in the year, it could have ended differently.
This is where Fred assesses the situation and his rest and digest nerves take over. Then he realizes what Alex had done and carefully explains it to Alex. Alex becomes aware he has implicit biases, and Fred further explains how to rewire his thinking by relearning neural pathways to prevent situations just like this one. Now to striking out racism.
This story serves to show that there are different ways to handle sociocultural challenges, some of which are much better than the others. Following the biopsychosocial method to reappraise emotions can ensure that one switches to an adaptive response to better handle a situation, as Fred does in the most recent scenario. Using these skills help us knock racism out of the park. Now here we have a graphical depiction of the dual track flow of threat information for all of our visual learners. We start off with initial emotional stimulus, which in this case was the comment made by Alex, which is then goes straight to the sensory thalamus and then can take two different paths based on if you decide to reappraise your emotions. So in the first situation, we just follow the low road and it goes directly to the amygdala, which activates the fear response in the body and produces an unsatisfactory emotional response. In the second situation, Fred is able to reappraise his emotions. So goes through his sensory cortex, so he's able to reevaluate, and then he takes the high road and is able to better handle the situation by explaining what happened and alleviating all the tension. Thanks and good one.